Ellen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1871, Decluttering. And I just realized I've got to make a change here. Make that change, and I have to make this change as well. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I'd forgotten to change a couple of things from the thing. I'm still trying to figure out how to change the thumbnail when I'll figure that one out later. Anyway, how are you all today? So today we're going to talk about decluttering, and I still have a ton of stuff in this house. And I was looking at it today and I thought, I'm going to do a major declutter. And what I'm going to do is there's going to be a lot of stuff I'm going to get rid of. So I've started taking photographs of things that I'm going to sell. I'm working out what I'm going to donate. But basically I've decided that I have a lot of stereo equipment and speakers and stuff, and I'm probably not going to have a place to get it all set up for a long time. So I'm like, why am I hanging on to this stuff? Let's get rid of it. I have other electronic stuff around that it's sort of like, that's been sitting in a box since Virginia. It's going. And we left Virginia in 2010. It's time to go. So I was walking around the house and I was looking in different boxes. I have boxes all over the place, and I've got my speaker boxes, and I've got these really nice tall speakers and they're great sounding speakers. They have an awesome subwoofer with them. They've got 2 rear speakers, 2 front speakers. And I kept thinking there was a 5th one on that one, but I don't think there was. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But I've decided, it's time to let them go. I haven't had them hooked up since we were in Virginia. Places that we've lived in since Virginia just didn't allow us to have them hooked up. Although no, one place we did, but it was a real pain because it was a rented place and we had to put the rear speakers up, and we were trying to figure out how to hook them up without putting holes in walls and things like that. It was a pain to do. So I'm just like, it's done. They're going. So there's going to be a whole set of that. And I can't remember, I'm like, they're a high-end brand too, and I can't think of the name of them. But I'm like, I'm done. I am done with all of this clutter. I am done with all these boxes. We're done. We're getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff. It's time. It's sort of like, I've got kids' toys here. I've got, of course, books. Books aren't being touched right now. That would be like the last thing when it comes to decluttering. My books and my journals are not touched at all. If they are going to be touched, it's right at the very end after everything else has been decluttered. I'm going to go through my kitchen, my stuff in the kitchen. What am I using? What am I not using? What I'm not using is going. Am I likely to use it? Probably not. It goes. So there's a major declutter. So that was the decision. Actually, I kind of started that decision yesterday and started taking photographs yesterday. And so I'm like, why do I still have that? I thought I got rid of that. Nope, let's take a picture of it. Let's figure out how much it's worth to buy new online, and let's make it a little cheaper and put it out there. So we're taking photographs, and I'm taking bookmarking descriptions online so I can copy and paste the descriptions across. I don't feel like coming up with anything new or fancy. Here it is. This is the description for it. Take it or leave it. So I'm going to get rid of a whole bunch of stuff, and I feel energized by it. I mean, I have an overlocker. I love to sew. I haven't been able to sew since, when was the last time I sewed? It was in LA when I was teaching my niece how to sew. And I wasn't even using my machines because my machines were all in storage. And I have an overlocker that I had purchased in Virginia. It has never been out of the box. It is still in its original box. I have a sewing machine that's still in its original box. And then I have the sewing machine that I use. But I've got a sewing machine and an overlocker still in their boxes, never been cracked. So I'm sort of like, I think it's time to let those go. And if I've got an overlocking foot that I can put on my regular machine, and I'll just do that for now because I'm not doing the amount of sewing that I used to do where I require an overlocker. And if I've got an overlock, I've got an overlocking foot that fits on my machine, the one that I use. So that's the one that I will. That's what I will do to overlocking. And when I find myself doing more and more sewing and having more need for an overlocker, then I will look at getting a new overlocker. But this one's been sitting in a box for, 2010, so about 14 years since then. Purchased it before Brad's cancer, and he got diagnosed in 2008. So we're talking a 16-year-old machine, at least 16 years old, that's never been out of the box. So I'm sort of like, yeah, that's got to go. It's taking up space. I'm not going to use it for now, immediately or in the near future. It can go. So there's all sorts as I'm coming through and I'm just going through things and what's in this box? And I open it up and go, yep, that's going. Don't use that. Yep, that's going. Don't use that. So it's kind of, it's, even though I've now decluttering is really good. Here's the good things about decluttering. When you physically declutter space, it helps mental, it helps in here to relieve some of the pressure that's in there. Because when you live in a cluttered house or with a lot of clutter around, it has an effect on you physically and as not only physically, but also mentally. By the fact that, oh, I've got this stuff sitting here. I really should clean that out. No, I really can't bother doing it right now. Somebody's coming with their turkey. So physically and mentally, it is a great thing to be able to declutter. Excuse me. Bring it here. You want to play right now, really? There you go. She'll go off and play. Anyway, so decluttering is very good for your mentality as well as your spiritual. It's just over good for body, mind, and soul. It is great for if you can do some decluttering. Get rid of the what the heck is that? I have no idea. It's a piece of trash sitting there. That's in the trash can now. I am so scatterbrained right now. Okay. Decluttering is good for the mind, for the body, mind, and soul. It affects everything. It affects us personally, physically. It affects us mentally. It affects us spiritually. Because when you've got that when you've got that stuff there, you may not physically think, oh, I've got to go through all those boxes. Oh, when am I going to find time to do that? And you start stressing out about it. Your subconscious is picking up that you've got those boxes sitting there, and it's causing you stress because the subconscious wants to get rid of it, and the conscious mind is sort of like, oh, the boxes are there. Huh. I need to get rid of those. And you're not really doing anything to do it. So I've firmly made a commitment to myself that I am not allowed to buy anything. I'm not allowed to bring anything in the home unless it is absolutely necessary until I clear out the boxes. Yes, I am that determined. I have said to my, and like I looked the other day, my crock pot, the inside of my crock, I went to use my crock pot, but the inside of the crock pot, the coating on the inside has started chipping. And I'm like, oh, I can't use that anymore. Dang, I'm going to need to get a new crock pot. And I was like, no, we are not going to get a new crock pot. Your Instapot has a crock pot sitting on there, has a slow cook sitting on there. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's give that a try. So the crock pot's getting dumped, and we're going to use Instapot as a slow cooker. So it's sort of like, making it, what do I already have that I can use, and what do I have that I don't use that I can get rid of? So there's going to be if you're on Facebook and you're in the area that I live in, you're going to see stuff going up there on Marketplace once I figure that out, how that all works. But yeah, I've decided to pull the plug. I'm not purchasing any new appliances. I'm not purchasing any new electronic stuff unless it is absolutely required. As far as books go, I actually have, if I'm doing book club books, that's a different story. But I do have over 5,000 electronic books on my Kindle. My Kindle has, I don't have over 5,000 books on my Kindle, but I do have over 5,000 books electronically that I have purchased. So I'm going to start reading on those. I have a whole bunch of books out there on my bookcases that I haven't read. I am going through my boxes of books right now, and I'm looking at some of those books and I'm going, I'm never going to read that. Even though I'm busy unloading books onto shelves, my shelves are getting nice and full. It looks really good. Trying to figure out how to sort it out. And I'm just sort of like at the stage, like, I really can't be bothered. I'm just going to put books in here. If they fit, they fit. And if not, we'll just put them in another cube. And so like I was looking for notebooks there. We were talking about journals and stuff yesterday with Kathy. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I've got a stack like this of journals that I have never used. I've got another stack like this of journals I have either completed or have partially completed. Like I might have written, 3 or 4 pages in there, and then I've switched to a different journal because I was using that journal for a purpose and I stopped doing that purpose and now it's sitting there. So no more journal buying. So I've even found empty composition books. What else did I find? What else did we find today, Zeffy? What else did we find? Her toys have to be gone through. She says she's got a basket full of toys. It's a laundry basket full of toys. And she will go and sit there and just look in her basket. She'll have some toys on the floor that she's been playing with. But she just goes over there and she sniffs in, and then she'll sit there and she'll just look at this basket. And then all of a sudden she'll just dive in. She'll suddenly stand up and start burrowing and literally tossing toys out of there to get to something that's down below. It's obviously and then she'll come out with a specific toy. So obviously she was looking for that toy, and somehow she figured out where it was in the thing and just started getting stuff out of the way so she could get in there and get it out. So I'm thinking, I'm like, how am I gonna? I'm gonna go through her toys, and any that have damage, they're gone. She's got her ears turned around. She's listening. So yeah. So even she's gonna get decluttered. She's gonna get some of her toys decluttered. She has a lot of toys. So yeah. So it's a big decluttering time at the house. It's gonna take a while, because I got a lot of work for clients that I'm working on, which is awesome. And so it's going to be put in between that. You know, I need something physical to do. I need to get out of my office. I need to get away from the computer. I'm going to go get a box, and that box is going to get sorted. It's either keep it, sell it, donate it, is basically the rules that I'm going to go by. I've watched a whole bunch of those decluttering shows where they have the piles of keep it, donate it, sell it. And it's going to be done with no emotions attached to it, I hope. I found a box of photo albums the other day. Yeah, they're not going anywhere. They were all, and I've got all my scrapbooking supplies. Yeah, we're not buying any more scrapbooking. You know, we were talking last night. If you were tuned in last night for talking with Kathy, you know, she's talking about using things that are in your home, that are currently in your home. And I'm sitting here thinking, I have boxes of scrapbooking supplies, of washi tape. I remember to call it washi, not wasabi. Washi tape, and books of sticker books galore. And, you know, it's just a matter of getting them all organized and knowing exactly where they are, so that, you know, I have a big suitcase type bag thing that's just full of albums to be used. And I'm like, awesome, because I want to get my photographs all organized and everything else. So that's another project that's on my plate. But it's sort of like, if I've got the supplies and I have these drawers where I've got all the scrapbooking supplies all organized, you know, here's the cutouts, here's the die cuts, here's the punches, here's the scissors, here's the marker, you know, the archival safe markers, here's the archival safe double-sided tape, here's the, you know, all the other bits and pieces that are in there. And I found my slice of, what do they call it? The thing that's about this, it's about this long, you put them there and you can cut stripes with it. You've got a little wheelie thing that just goes, the cutting board or whatever it is, and you slam it down, you hold it in place and go zip to cut the things off, and I can make strips of paper and that sort of stuff. So trim my pages, that sort of thing as well. So I found that yesterday at the bottom of a box of books. I said, like, okay, so those books are now on the thing. The cutting board is out of there, and the box is no more. So I've got 6 boxes I broke down this week. No, that was last weekend. 6 boxes last weekend we emptied, and at the bottom of one of those was the board with the rotary blade on it. I don't know what they call guillotines. Are the ones that go up and down with the handles. This wasn't the guillotines. I've got those little mini ones. I've got those. This was one with the roller thingy. Go zip. Move it over. Zip. So yeah. So I've got all of those sorts of supplies as well. And then I thought, and I opened up the closet and go, oh, there's my electronic keyboard. What am I going to do with that? Because that was a gift from Brad. And so that one's going to be very hard to decide what to do with, because keyboard is something I've always wanted to learn. And every now and again I will, and I have it set up. And when I haven't got it set up right now because I don't know where the power supply thingy is for it. But I can always get a new power supply thingy for it. But it's something that I've always learned and played with. And I have this great video of my oldest grandson. He was 2.5. It was after Brad had passed. It was the Christmas after Brad had passed away, and I was looking after him one day. And we were I turned it into the reading room. I took over Brad's office and turned my office into a reading room. And I had the keyboard in there. And every now and again, I'd go in there and just play on the keyboard. And he comes in and he's sitting there, and he loved pressing buttons at that point. And somehow he figured out the number 19 was Jingle Bells. And so he figured out how to go songbook. There's like there's like 3 buttons he had to press before he had to press 19. He figured out the sequence to do that. And he would sit there and he would sing Jingle Bells along with it. And then when it stopped and would go to the next song, he would turn the thing off, turn it back on, hit the song book, type in the number for it, and sit there and we just listened to Jingle Bells over and over and over again. And every time it finished, he'd turn the keyboard off, turn it back on. So there's some great memories tied with it. But again, it's also something that Brad gave me because he knew it was something I wanted to learn. So do I keep it? Do I sell it? I don't know. I'm trying to take the emotion out of it, but it's very hard to. This being September, and in just over a week, it will be the 7th anniversary of Brad's passing. So maybe now is not the time to be looking at stuff that Brad had given me because of his anniversary, his passing anniversary coming up on the 24th. So in 10 days. So, you know, anything that Brad's given me or anything that has a connection to Brad is not going to get sorted out for another couple of months. Although then we're into Christmas and our wedding anniversary is in December. Might be early next year on the Brad stuff. But in the meantime, I've got it actually doesn't matter because Brad stuff, I'll just put aside. Anything that's got a connection to Brad, whether he gave it to me or it was his, is going to get put aside for right now. And I've got a whole bunch of other stuff that I can sort through and declutter over the next few months. So that's, you know, I thought that was a really cool thing to talk about because it's something that's what I was doing today. So do you have a favorite method of decluttering? If you've got to declutter something, do you have a favorite method? You know, I'm also coming up to in May next year. It will be actually April. They'll notify me. April will be my renewal on my rent. I'm renting this house. So do I want to stay a 3rd year or do I want to move? And if I want to move, I don't want to be dragging all this crap with me. So I'm also looking for, you know, in April, I'm going to get the agreement to say, you know, do you want to stay? Do you want to go? And at that point, I'm going to be looking at it going, I don't, you know, at this point, I don't know. I'm happy to stay. But maybe, you know, and I like the neighborhood and everything, especially having the park here where I can take Zeffy for a walk. But maybe there's a better place for me. I don't know. I don't know what my feelings are going to be come May of next year when it comes time to renew the release. So if I do decide to move next year, I don't want to be dragging all this stuff with me. So I'm sort of like, okay, we need to go through it now. So if we do decide to move come next year, be April timeframe that when we start moving and that sort of thing, we're ready to move. Because we've got rid of a lot of stuff, so we're not going to have as much stuff to go. And right now, I have a guest room, but I don't have a bed in there. I only have boxes in there of stuff I'm going through, and I'm sort of like, I'd really like to have a guest room set up. I can't have people come and stay with me, and people say, oh, can we come visit? And I said, you can come visit, but I've got nowhere for you to sleep. And they're like, why not? I said, I have a guest room, but it's full of boxes. My craft room's full of boxes. Well, my craft room has 2 tables in it set up to do crafts. So I'm sort of like in limbo, and I'm sort of like, I'm done with the limbo thing. Let's make that decision. Let's get it done. And so my goal is to have the place complete, all the sorting and the decluttering done by the beginning of April next year. So April 1st, it's a bad day, 31st of March, 2025, I plan to have all my decluttering done and down to just the necessities that I need. And books, yes, I do need books. That's my life. It's books. And so, you know, there's just looking around, I mean, even just looking in this office, I've got a box up there that says Brad's desk. I don't even know what's in it. It's probably stuff from his desk that was in his office. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, so I'm just like, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here that can go. Some of it will get sold, some of it will get donated. You know, some of it will get given to family members because I know that I've got some stuff here that needs to be passed on to family members. So, you know, we're just in a big decluttering mode right now. So what is your favorite method to declutter? Let us know in the comments below. With that, we're out of here. You ready to go for a walk, Zeffy? Zeph, you want to go for a walk? Walking? You know, 4 feet. Go to the park, sniff around, do your stuff, and come home again. She's just like looking at me trying to process the words. Anyway, we're out of here. Go out and have a super fantastic sparkling evening.